Test 1 2, test 1 2.
Check. Ladies and gentlemen, this is The Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve.
Nick Reynolds, Steve Harness, and Cousin Brewski. The Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve.
Take one.
Take one. Welcome to episode number 2. We do 2 episodes each and every week. We are The Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve, all of Brewski. It's your favorite podcast. Here we are again, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I recently told somebody, like, I listen to podcasts, and they were like, what one do you listen, or what do you listen to? I was like, mainly my podcast. Well, what else do you listen to? Okay, I only listen to The Vocal Minority. Fine.
Hey, Steve was commenting and talking back and forth with some of our listeners and followers, and you got a great comment, dude. It's a friend of the show, but Judy made some comment to Steve. They would talk back and forth. What did she say, dude? You said, thanks for listening to the podcast, and she said what?
She said, thanks for giving worth listening to.
Oh.
And, yeah. I would agree with that. We also got a nice note this week from the wine lawyer, who I think is like, I mean, his profile picture, it could be fake on TikTok, I don't know, but his name is Wine Lawyer, and he reminds me of like the most interesting man from the Dos Equis ads.
Okay.
He's got that salt and pepper kind of beard. He just looks like a mature, responsible man. And he likes all of our stuff on TikTok. And he commented that, I don't actually listen to podcasts, which you should, Wine Lawyer. But he was like, I love your guys' TikTok page. It's so funny and entertaining. And, it's nice to hear stuff.
I thought you guys knew that guy.
No.
Just a listener of the show, dude.
And for some reason, I thought he was somehow connected to Mr. Anderson.
Nah, nothing I'm aware of. He's just someone that found us on there.
Okay.
And we also had a fun thing this week. We got our first stitch done from one of our videos. Somebody did played a clip of us, and then they made comments based on what we were talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
One of our listeners that it seems like she's got quite a few followers, and she did a stitch with us. It was, what was it?
Yeah, she's some pseudo influencer. She's got way more followers than us, but not millions and millions. But she's got like a few 100,000 likes and like 50,000 followers, and she's this just gorgeous woman that talks about basically how much men suck, that all the dates she goes on, that there's a bunch of losers. But she's a horseback rider, so I tagged her in our video talking about our horsewomen terrible people, as we know they are. And she did a little stitch of it where she played a clip of Nick saying that if you've ever bought hay, I don't think you actually have blood pumping through your heart.
Right.
And, so she played back and just said, like, boy, that's kind of mean, but not totally wrong.
Right. Yeah. She's a little haughty too, dude. She's real down on men. It sounds like she's had a bad time of it. And I think, Steve, you should try and prove her wrong, dude. There's no reason.
Wants to get down on this man, then go right ahead.
Jeez. Well, anyway, welcome to the program. Welcome one, welcome all. This day shall not be forgotten. The Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve Olabrewski, 844-48-VOCAL. If you want to comment on the program, you can do it there discreetly. I don't know who you are, dude. Just leave a voicemail. It's just like typing into a keyboard.
Yeah. The other funny thing this week in the comments section, speaking of which, a couple of people insulted me by complimenting me, and I just don't understand that. One person said the guy with glasses and the flannel is 100% liberal. I said, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah. All right. Someone else called me Keith Olbermann Jr.
Wow. Like, well, that is a compliment of the highest regard, in my opinion. And I know Brewski's. Come on.
Exactly. So,
but you know what it is to the people that who live and inhabit in their echo chamber.
Yeah.
Those are slurs.
Wow. I saw somebody made a comment about the guy with the mohawk is, so good looking. I was like, thanks, I guess. I'm like, wow.
I see that so often. I just drone it out.
Yeah, exactly. All three of us on this show are friends. If you're new to the podcast, we've known each other for, Steve and I have known each other for a long time. And then we've known Brewski, and he's known us for a long ass time as well.
Yes.
We've known each other for well over a decade, Brewski. What, 20?
Longer than
17 years, maybe.
Longer than that. Actually, it was like 2004, 2005 when I met you guys.
I would say we're all born in the 70's, gentlemen. And Brewski just happens to be more of an expert on all things that happened in the 70s. I say the standard person says, when I grew up, we didn't come in the house to get a drink of water. We drank from a garden hose and didn't come back until the street lights came on. Brewski is the king of knowledge that make those look like child play about the 70s. You worship the 70s.
Well, yeah. I mean, it was, I had fun as a kid in the 70s, to be honest with you.
And I would say, honestly, all three of us are pretty good with our pop culture knowledge, but Brewski really excels at it. So there are times Nick and I will lean on Brewski of like, well, that one guy from that one show, he was one more thing before I go. What was that guy?
Yeah, and he usually knows it. It's very few times he doesn't come up with the knowledge. When I saw this article, I thought we got to talk about it. This says, here are 11 classic slang words from the 70s we forget about.
There's always a cycle of slang words going on.
Yes.
Yeah, always. Brewski was telling us the new number one word for this year. What was it? Rizzo?
Merriam-Webster says that the word this year is Riz.
Right. Which a couple episodes ago you dropped Riz, and I said, "What's Riz, and what is it?"
It's slang these days for charisma.
Charisma. There you go. So
yeah,
that guy is just oozing Riz.
I did hear a girl in my car the other day saying that this guy that was trying to talk to her had no Riz, and this is a direct quote. He'd be pulling no bitches.
Striking out. Yes. Okay.
I'm glad bitches hasn't gone out of style, though. That was hip when we were kids and still is.
You fine ass bitches.
But you know what has become more of an empowerment word for women now? Like, I always wonder about that. Like, you don't want me to call you a bitch. I get that. But why do you guys call each other bitches? Hey, bitches, we're going out this Friday, that type of thing. Like, people love the word bitches.
Some people own their slang. Black people certainly have. Women are starting to do it, and it probably defangs it a bit, but it's also a little humorous when people own their, insults. So.
Well, and also, I think it depends on who's saying it and in what context they're saying it. Because when Nikki said, "Hey bitches, we going out this weekend," at that point this is the term of endearment. This person loves you.
We always used to default to biatch because I felt like that was a little better. What's up, biatch? Like, I'm not calling you a bitch. I'm calling you a biatch. So.
Come on, it's a completely different thing. Right. Are you crackers ready to hear about 11 classic slang words from the 70s that we forget about? Have you forgotten? Will Brewski know all of them? Number one on our list starts out with the word Casanova. You might use the term Casanova to refer to a man who's popular among women, like ladies' man. Is he? He's a Casanova. You remember it, Brewski?
Brewski, without Googling, so we keep you honest here, yes. Yeah. I'm sure you remember it, but what can you tell us about the origins of Casanova?
And let me say also that if you can't tell us something about these things, please make them up and don't let us know.
Right, because we won't know.
Yeah, it was a guy that was really good with the ladies.
Is it a literary reference? Like, I know what a Casanova is, but do you know the origin of it? Was it from a movie, a book, or what?
I believe it's a literary reference. I don't know for sure where it comes from.
I have the origin if anyone wants to know it.
Yes, please.
Giacomo Casanova, born April 2nd, 1725 in Venice, Italy. Died in 1798, was a writer, soldier, spy, and diplomat, chiefly remembered as the Prince of Italian Adventures and as the man who made the name Casanova synonymous with being a lover.
Wow.
So, I don't know.
All right, number two on the list. I still use this all the time. I don't know why they say it's forgotten. Chilling at the pad. Chilling at the pad is how teenagers said they're hanging out at home. I always say that, dude.
Chilling at the pad. I mean, I certainly use chilling. I don't know about at the pad.
I would be more apt to use pad than I would be chilling.
How would you like come back to my pad?
Yeah, that sort of thing there.
Yeah, I use them synonymously. I always say chilling at the pad. Let's go chill at our pad, dude. Let's go chill at my pad. Do you want to chill at my pad? My pad is available for chilling. Chill with me, won't you?
It reminds me of like feminine hygiene products a little too much. Talking about pads a lot. So
that's your dirty mind, though, dude.
I think it goes to lily pads, which frogs sit on in ponds.
Yes.
And they are cold-blooded.
But I think that's where the pad part for your home comes from. Frogs and lily pads.
You are simply amazing, Brewski.
We'll take that. That may not be accurate, but now we put it out there, so it'll be on Wikipedia before you know it.
Number 3 on the list is simply going around. Throughout the 1970s, a couple who was dated would be described as going around or going steady.
Yeah, we went around with each other for a couple of years.
That's right.
I don't think I've ever heard that. We're going around. That one can stay dead. I'm not a fan. So.
Okay.
Okay, Brewski has accepted your withdrawal. Okay,
I made a declaration, everyone.
Okay, all right. Number 4, flower power. The 70s were heavily impacted by war, and many people were in support of flower power, in which meant choosing peace over fighting, love not war, on the bed, not on the floor.
I would have thought that was more of a 60s thing, but yeah, flower power was a big thing.
Well, so it actually went into the 70s too.
Yeah, it's
and
Vietnam.
The reason why, exactly with the Vietnam War going on.
I think if I was opening a marijuana dispensary, because we refer to marijuana as flower nowadays, like that'd be a good name for that store, a little flower power. But
you could only sell. You couldn't sell indica. You could only sell. Why am I blanking?
Sativa.
I smoke too much sativa. That's why I'm blanking, dude. Yeah, you would have to sell flower sativa. We'll just call it flower power. It's good, Steve. I like it.
I'm all for deflowering people. But,
so question, because I'm going to show my ignorance here.
Yeah.
But why couldn't it be indica? Isn't that a flower also?
Yeah, but it doesn't give you much power. Just indica puts you into couch, it just makes you lazy. So
I get you.
Wasn't it a hippie that put a flower in the barrel of a gun? Isn't that where that started at?
Yeah.
There you go.
Steve's going to open up a dispensary called Flower Power. I'm going to open up a donut shop next door, a bakery called Flower Power.
Yeah.
Right?
Spelling it wrong, but yeah.
Yeah, come on, dude. This is not a spelling lesson. I'm marketing, dude.
Right. It's like it's a homonym.
Yes.
It's spelled differently, but they sound the same.
I don't know why you don't want to be friends with my frickin' donut shop, dude. Why are you trying to put me down already? We can work well together.
I told you a few episodes ago I'd rather smoke fentanyl than eat as many donuts as you guys do in one sitting. So.
Oh, God, you don't sound. You haven't had good donuts. That's why. When you go someplace where they make good donuts, it's
13 donuts you two sit down and eat? That's excessive.
Yeah, we don't do it every time. We just have.
No.
And
exactly.
I don't know that you know the true joy of life, dude. If you've not eaten donuts ad nauseum. I mean, milk donuts? Come on. I think the only thing that you will overeat is poon, you little pervert. I mean, come on. That's probably true, right? You'll overeat on poon. I think there is way too much poon last night. My tongue is sore.
Poon power is what I go with. So
number 5 on the list is something I still say as well. I know you guys probably do on some level. Off the hook, a term that originated about a corded landline phone being off the hook. The phrase means that something is extremely cool or exciting.
I can't remember the last time I said off the hook. I think I've said off the chain a few times, and I've hit myself for sounding stupid. So I don't know about off the hook, though.
Why do you sound stupid, dude? I've said that too. I mean, it was off the chain last night. Why is that stupid?
I feel we're too old for that one for some reason. That just doesn't sit right with me. That was off the chain. I don't even know what it means, so I shouldn't be saying.
I'm kind of partial to bitching myself, so.
I will say there's a great sushi restaurant up here called Off the Hook, which makes sense.
That's good.
Yeah. It is really good.
You use off the hook a lot, huh? In just everyday casual conversation?
I wouldn't say I use it a lot, but as I'm describing things, I will say off the chain or off the hook, and we're not too old for it. It's been around since the 70s, dude. It's not a new thing.
Maybe it makes you sound old, but so Rachel comes home and how was your day, honey? You're like, oh, off the hook and off the chain, baby.
Listen, my day spent at home hasn't been off the hook or off the chain for 30 years, dude. But if I go to a concert and you ask me how it was and it was great, I might say it was completely off the hook.
I understand the origins of off the hook, meaning the phone is off the hook, but why does that equate to being good or awesome?
Well, you take the phone off the hook if you're doing awesome things like banging your girlfriend.
Yeah,
take it off the hook. Yes.
Okay. All right. Maybe I'll work it back in, though.
I don't know this one, so we'll see if you guys do. I'm sure Brewski does. Okay. Number 6 on our list of 11 things is hairy eyeball. If someone were to give you the hairy eyeball, it would mean they're shooting you a nasty or menacing stare.
I've heard of it, but I've never used it, but I have heard it. I would take that to be like, when someone is like giving you like the stink eye and then they kind of have their eye closed a little bit and then that brings their eyebrow down. So now you're seeing the eyebrow and eyelashes. Maybe that's where the hairy eye comes from.
Origins of this one. It's interesting. It's right down the hill from me here in the biggest little city. The earliest... Yes, Reno. The earliest known use of the noun hairy eyeball is from the early 1960s. In 1961 in Reno, Nevada, from the Evening Gazette. What's the meaning of the phrase, the hairy eyeball? It says, a glance made with partially lowered eyelashes. Which usually indicates suspicion or hostility. So I think Brewski is pretty right, actually.
This is what you get when you tune to this podcast. If we don't know, Brewski will know. Number 6 is hairy eyeball. Number 7, still use this. I mean, I don't know that I use any of these in my daily conversation, but threads is number 7. 1970s fashion was full of bright colors and unique silhouettes. If you bought new clothes, you'd be excited to show your friends your new threads.
Maybe I don't use it because I don't have any nice threads. But
you've sent me pictures of new threads recently, dude. You've got some new threads.
Sure. Well, I'm looking good right now. So
this next one on our list, dude, is something I don't say, but I was just watching a show where they said it a whole bunch. Jive Turkey is number 8.
Yeah.
Somebody who was trying yet failing to be cool would be known as a Jive Turkey.
Right. So where do we know that one from? That was certainly on WKRP, right?
That's exactly what I was just watching it on. Yeah.
But Jive Turkey was on Good Times because Walona would have called Bookman, the maintenance guy, a Jive Turkey, and that sort of thing. The Jeffersons, you probably heard it on that as well.
I do like the Bee Gees song Jive Talkin'. That's kind of related.
There you go.
Do you use Jive Turkey, Steve, in your daily life?
Never would.
Never called anyone a Jive Turkey.
No, because I know it from those 70s shows where it was almost always the white guy that was the Jive Turkey, so I wouldn't be, using that expression much.
Brewski, have you ever called anybody a Jive Turkey?
No. I have called people a turkey, but
in what regard? Like, how'd you call him a turkey? You're such a little turkey. Get out of here, turkey.
Like that cat's a fucking turkey. Yeah.
I think next Thanksgiving I'm going to make my turkey dance and call it a Jive Turkey.
Yeah, you should give a funeral for your Jive Turkey. Number 9 on our list. This is 11 classic slang words from the 70s that we forgot about. Number 9 is stone fox. An incredibly attractive woman would have been referred to as a stone fox.
I remember that one, but I didn't hear it a whole lot, and I don't think that one needs to live on.
She was a stone fox, dude. She was I heard she is a stone cold fox.
Yes, I heard that more. And stone cold crazy, I've heard plenty.
Fox. I've just heard fox as well. Just
foxy lady.
Oh, just a fox. Oh, she's a fox, man.
Yeah, I remember it. Okay, number 10. I don't know this one, but this sounds good to me. I may start saying it. Sound as a pound. If you were to ask someone how they're doing, and they tell you their sound is a pound, it means that everything is going well. We need to bring this back.
Sound is talking like a pound of marijuana or something. Sound is a pound, but anyone know the origins of that one? Because I never have heard that one.
I don't know the origins of that one at all. I mean, I can imagine. If it's a pound of something, that's substantive. It's solid. It's not going to move around.
My guess would be sound is a pound. Have you ever been to a dog pound? They're very loud. Dogs are barking, and it's creating a lot of sound. So I'm doing sound is a pound.
So apparently, originally from the days when the pound coin was introduced in London, because that was their money back then, the pound. They were saying its sound is a pound, meaning it's government-backed money. Its sound is a pound.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Are you looking for a rim shot, Brewski?
does make sense.
Unintentional comedy right there.
Right. Listen, there's one I'm waiting for on this list. We have one more?
Yeah, we have one more. That's number 10 was Sound as a Pound. You think it'll make it?
All right.
All right.
We'll see. I mean, this is a class 70s phrase. I still don't know what the hell it means, but yeah, let's see if it's the last one.
Oh, this isn't it then, because you know what this means, and I'm sure that Brewski uses this, or I bet he does. Number 11 on the list, last one, boogie down. To boogie down means to dance your heart out, or something might tell you that you're getting your groove on.
Well, yeah, they sing it in Let's Groove. The Earth, Wind, and Fire sang that.
No, very disco era.
They have been showing pictures throughout this is a slideshow, and on Boogie Down, dude, I don't know. This is a beautiful woman to me, okay? There's several women standing in a roller skating rink for Boogie Down, but they are all wearing socks that come up to their mid-thigh. Do you remember those?
Yeah.
Dude, I love that high sock on a woman that comes up to their mid-thigh and short
Usually,
shorts.
at the roller rink was the popular place for that look.
Totally, dude. I miss a roller rink, for crying out loud. I love a roller rink.
Boogie Down, I mean, that just sounds so nerdy and antiquated and such a white guy thing to say that no, never did say it and it can stay dead.
You should start, dude. I think it intentionally would sound, as a cheesy thing, would be great coming from you. Please.
I'll see what I can do. Brewski, any thoughts on what the classic 70s phrase is that I was thinking must be on this list somewhere?
Groovy, no. Taking care of business, no.
Think maybe Smokey and the Bandit?
Breaker.
10 for good buddy?
No.
Smokey just ahead.
No, keep on trucking.
Yeah, it definitely was. Absolutely.
Brewski, you used to have that bumper sticker, didn't you?
I had a Natural Man T-shirt with the whole sticking the foot up that said "Keep on trucking."
Well, the 70s was full of all sorts of good and otherwise useless slang. Some of it's still relevant today, but yeah, most of it sounds pretty antiquated. I've got another article here about the 80s. Should we jump forward a decade and reminisce about that?
Let's do it.
I love the 80s, dude.
Okay. Let's see here. These are things from the 80s that seem shocking nowadays. We actually, I think, talked about this on a recent episode, but concrete playgrounds. Like when we were kids in the 80s, every playground, everything was solid. You were playing on asphalt. It was, cement conduit pipes we were all jumping on, playing on.
Yeah. My whole elementary school playground was all culverts that were, out of ditches, cement and everything. It was made to hurt yourself, and sometimes we did. And sometimes we got up and realized how to return to life without being such a little bitch baby.
Well, and then also the metal slides, which during the summer, you found out quick how hot it was.
And you didn't care, you did it again.
Yes, exactly.
I think it's when playgrounds were designed on economics, what was cheapest and easiest, not what was safest. For kids.
Yes, I was recently playing pickleball with my niece, and we had to cross I haven't been on a playground in many years, but I had to cross the playground. The whole floor of the outdoor park playground was squishy like a mattress. So if you fell on it, you would just kind of bounce a couple of times. Right. That's crazy, dude.
Modern playgrounds are like that. And I find it somewhat funny that we're all like, you pussies, but it makes a lot more sense actually, right? To have children's equipment be safe. I mean, I don't know.
Kind of, but I think it does turn them into being little assholes. I mean,
toughens you up a little bit,
That's right. I think that, we were all bent out of shape when kids started to get wood chips at the, you can fall in 2 inches of wood chips, you little pussy, dude. We fell on concrete, fried ourselves on reflective slides. I mean, this is the way we grew up, and that's why we're so tough now.
Yeah, it's a good theory. That's why I skip vaccines for my kids. Like, you pussy, a little polio, do you good. Like, come on. The next thing actually ties into this. These are things from the 80s that should make us all grimace nowadays. Dangerous toys. Do you remember something called the Atomic Energy Lab?
No.
I never saw it in person, but I've heard about it. Did you get some low-grade plutonium with it?
Yes. That is so hilarious. I don't remember this thing, but it's one of the examples here. The Atomic Energy Lab was a popular toy in the 80s, and parents bought it and lived to tell the story. 4 samples of uranium-containing ores
Science.
included in the package.
Come on, dude. Did you ever play with Johnny Switchblade or Bag of Broken Glass or anything like that? We had toys that were dangerous.
Well, look at jarts.
Oh, yeah. I still have some jarts, dude. I bought jarts on eBay.
I don't know. I think the jarts may have started in the 60s or 70s, but we certainly had them into the 80s, or lawn darts, you know.
Yeah.
Those things were freaking awesome. I mean, these weighted metal darts you would chuck way up in the air and then run, everybody, run! Would spear in the ground. It's hilarious. And they're totally illegal now for some reason.
Hit somebody in the head. And that's
everything becomes a weapon when we were kids. I can't remember the maker of this, but it's very famous. And it was late 70s and into the 80s. They were still making them, but they were little cannons that you could fire off. I can't remember the name of them, but
it's called the Big Bang Cannon.
That's exactly right. The Big Bang was so dangerous, dude. You could kill somebody with the shot from that.
Well, but the thing about it was you would get this tube, this stuff that was like looked almost like Vaseline almost. And you would squeeze a little out and you would put it on there. And then what happened was you would pull the thing and the hammer would fall on it and it would fire off.
Big
Bang Cannon.
People used to put BBs and little nails in the cannons. Yeah. You know, it's just a big pipe bomb, basically. Or a little pipe bomb, I should say. Yeah, I love dangerous toys.
Next one on the list, things from the 80s that would make us shudder today. I had this come up in a previous relationship in regards to my children. Less reachability. You know, today everyone's available. We have cell phones, ways to connect. But, you know, back in the 80s, when we were out playing as kids, none of us had any way to be connected to our parents. Nope. And a woman I was dating a couple of years ago, I told my son, it was go ahead and go out and play in the woods. It's fine. And she was like, how can you let him go out in the woods? I'm like, how did we all live? I used to play in the woods or down the street or whatever. Like, it is a weird concept, but yeah, we never had any of that.
If you weren't playing alone, if something happened to you, someone got on their bike and rode to your house and got your mother or something like that, and then they brought her back.
Right. Or start screaming. I used to remember that in the neighborhood because, you know, we would all congregate in our subdivision in one area, and someone would get hurt, and they'd start screaming, Kobe's mom! Kobe's mom! Then the mom would come out on the front porch, what? Like...
I remember my parents sending me on my first plane trip by myself. I must have been 8 years old, and we didn't have a way to contact each other. I flew into LAX, dude, an 8-year-old. And I had to find the person to pick me up, you know, we couldn't talk to anyone.
Nick and I were talking recently about my son going out to ride his dirt bike by himself. And I don't know, I do take some level of comfort, and he's got a cell phone. So if he falls and breaks his leg out there, he can just call me. Like, you know, it's nice. But
yeah.
Yeah.
Let's lean on Brewski's pop culture knowledge again. If I say greed is good, who said that?
Gordon Gekko.
That is correct. Classic 80s mantra.
I thought that was Scrooge McDuck, dude.
No, that would be Gordon Gekko. He gave that big speech where he says, greed works. Greed is good.
And I think a lot of people, especially business people, really adopted that mantra. I know so many business types, salespeople especially, that idolize Gordon Gekko still.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it's partially to blame for the downfall of our country, like this whole fixation on money and greed and everything, because it was so mainstream in the 80s.
Well, but you know what, though? I think it was always there amongst that Wall Street set in particular. But I think that kind of brought it to the forefront for everybody to consume it and maybe take it in. And I think that's where it comes to your point where it really kind of infected the country.
No, for sure. What about hairstyles back in the 80s? It was always big hair.
Oh, yes.
For women.
Huge.
And for men, too. I mean, especially in the rock and roll scene. You look at early pictures of Bon Jovi. I mean, he's spent 2 gallons of Aquanet getting that thing going up.
Yeah, I always thought the big hair thing, I didn't ever like it, but it was there.
It's one of the few trends that has yet to come back around, because some 80s fashion has definitely come and maybe even gone at this point. But the whole big hair and the big bangs, unless you live in Texas, I don't see that anymore.
We had so many girls with big hair in my high school. There was a guidance counselor who actually had marks on the wall where he would mark, like, on this particular date, this is where her hair was. And then, like, a month later, this is where it was then.
I mean, back in the 80s, there were so many famous women, you know, whether it's Tawny Katane or what. I mean, we all thought they were sexy and hot, but I look at pictures of them now, and they look ridiculous. Whereas if I look at women from the 60s or 70s, I can see that there was an era appropriate thing going on there, but I don't think they look stupid. But 80s, I do.
Yeah, we were looking dumb, dude. I had a rat tail and I had lines shaved into my head, dude. Yeah, of course we were looking stupid.
Think about this. They're wearing Crocs with socks right now. You want to talk about looking stupid?
I resent that. I wear Crocs with socks. Crocs are a great house shoe, and I always wear them with socks.
I've yet to get into the Croc thing. I know they're very comfortable, I hear, but can't cross over that Rubicon. Another thing, speaking of looking stupid in the 80s, okay, so maybe girls and even some guys had big hair, but back in the 80s, we all idolized Lamborghinis and Ferraris, all these sports cars that I was just in Vegas and some dude pulled up in a Lamborghini and I just thought, you douchebag, fucking Lamborghini, like how small is your dick? Come on.
Depends who's driving it, dude.
Well, but
I think that those kind of cars, though, Lamborghinis, Ferraris, they just scream douchebag nowadays.
Again, it depends who's driving it. You know,
if Dave Matthews is driving a Lamborghini, it's okay. Like, who's the good person that can drive a Lamborghini and pull it off?
I don't think you necessarily drive them out in public. It's more
Mario Andretti
collection that you have, you know, stuff like that. But the reason we idolized them is because you didn't see them every 10 feet. You know, how many times a week do you see a Lamborghini in person now? It's not a big deal anymore. And for then, it used to be like we had posters of those women with big hair laying on a Lamborghini.
Well, and I think the other thing with the Countach in particular, the design of that was so ahead of anything else that was going on in the automotive world. I think that's why it was so big. There was nothing else that looked like them.
Yeah.
You know, and also Lamborghini makes so few cars every single year. I mean, they make less than 500 cars a year.
But is that because only 500 people can afford them, or no one really wants them anymore because it's a douchebag car?
No, they sell. They have a list that people have been on for years to attain one of these cars.
Exactly.
Douchebag list. Yes. Okay.
I'm telling you.
I see your point, dude. You're talking about a guy who pulls up to the club in a Lamborghini and throws his keys. Like, I understand who you're talking about, but that guy's probably renting that car. You know what I mean? Especially in Vegas, you can rent them. It's crazy.
If I had a relative die, like I have a Lamborghini Countach in the garage, like it's all yours, I would sell it. I would not be a douchebag driving around in a freaking Lamborghini.
I would have to drive it at least one time. At least one time.
Yeah, sure. Once, yeah.
You know,
but you don't have a love for him, you know? It's just like somebody may say the same thing about, if someone gave me a dirt bike, I would sell it, you know, immediately. And like you would never sell that. You're not into it, you know?
No, but in the 80s, I was into Lamborghinis and Ferraris and all that because it was very 80s. But yeah, I've grown out of that, I guess. So.
Can I just share one thing real quick?
Yeah.
This is a car thing. So Jay-Z bought a Rolls-Royce boat tail. This is a car that they actually have to make special for you.
Okay.
If you had to guess, how much do you think the car cost?
I mean, I would conservatively say that $250,000 would be, not out of the ballpark. But for a douchebag like that, $1.2 million, because it's not like it costs that much to make a Rolls Royce. But go ahead. What
I think
it
you're
cost?
low, dude. I say 2.8.
You're both way low. $28 million.
Oh, come on. Please. I know everything costs more than what the parts are, but come on, $28 million. That's just sticking it to a douchebag that can afford a $28 million car.
Prestige of a one-off Rolls Royce.
It's a douchebag move. I would not, if I saw Jay-Z pull up in that, I would not think, wow, he's so cool. I'd think, what a fucking douchebag. You spent $28 million?
You know how many people you could have fed for that, dude? Come on.
There were 3 in existence in the entire world. 3.
3 too many.
Yeah, $28 million. Unbelievable.
Another bad 80s trend, shoulder pads. That looks so cool. And men wore it too in suit jackets and stuff, but women certainly had shoulder pads going.
Those have come back over the last couple of years for women anyway.
It's a symmetrical style thing, you know?
That's
like
right.
V sort of thing.
Makes her waist look smaller. Bring on the shoulder pads.
I mean, if you're on the defensive line for the Packers or something, maybe have some shoulder pads. But yeah, I did see that trend come back. Let me ask you guys this. Did you used to peg your pants, your jeans?
Yes.
Okay, because, that was a big thing for us, too. And why were we doing that?
I had the greatest tight roll in my class, dude. I mean, I pegged my pants, and it was one of those things where I could not have imagined myself never pegging my pants. Like, I thought I would do that until I died.
Right.
Well, and you know what's interesting is that actually was originally happened. It was brought out in the 50s.
Yeah, that 50s origin does sound right to me. I just don't know why in the 80s we brought it back and why we're all just one day pegging our pants.
Oh, they brought that back a couple of years ago. The kids were starting to peg their pants.
They were, yeah.
Again.
I'm going to have to ask my kids about that, if they've ever even heard of it, because I never saw them doing that. I haven't seen that trend around.
I don't think they call it that, but yeah, explain it to them, and I guarantee there were kids at their high school doing it.
Let's see. I don't know if I agree with this one. It says, these are things from the 80s that should make us all shudder. Mixtapes. Today's generation of live streaming and downloading songs wouldn't know the troubles that people went through in the 80s to put a few songs on a cassette tape.
It was an art form, dude. I love making mixtapes. I loved it.
Yeah, it did take a lot of time, though, because you had to do it in real time. You know, now you can put together a playlist and, whatever few minutes you take. But yeah, you have to sit there in real time.
Yeah.
Dub one song to another tape, hit pause, cue up the next song.
Well, yeah. And sometimes you'd have to call your friends because you're looking for a certain song you don't have. And you haven't heard it on the radio to record it. So you want to call them and see if they have the tape. Can you borrow it? Because you're making a tape for someone.
That's why it meant so much, though. Do you remember when you gave a girl a mixtape?
Yeah.
Like, here's a mixtape, dude. I made this, and it was laborious, and I did it with you in mind. Here is a mixtape. And it was like receiving $1 million. I loved getting a mixtape.
Yeah. And it's funny, since we're all radio guys, I remember calling my local station. I couldn't tell you what the song was, but it was some hit new song that I wanted to record. And the freaking DJ talked over the intro and ruined my freaking, sitting there for hours waiting for my request to come on. And he's yakking over the intro.
Totally.
He's hitting the post.
I used to try and get the DJs to, I'd call in and make the request, and I would tell them, I'm making a mixtape. Could you tell me what song you're going to put, the song right before it you're going to play? So I could get the recording just right.
Not only have we all hit the post before talking over the intro, but how many times, did someone call and request a song where you're just like, yeah, I'll get that on pretty soon. And you're thinking, I'm not playing that stupid song for you, kid.
Sure. You never said no, but most of the time you meant no.
Yeah. Let me see what I can do for you. Okay. That was always what I would say. And then I always love when someone would call up and be like, I ran to the bathroom. Did you play my song? I'd be like, yep, I did. Sorry.
Just missed it, dude. What's funny to also think about is, like, back in the day, when we were working for KBSG, people didn't realize, like, I have 0 request slots. Like, this is all planned by somebody, and hey, call me Saturday between 8 and midnight, and I've got 2 request slots an hour I can do then. But people think you're just pulling stuff and playing it, so they're, you're not going to get a request. I'm sure it'll come up, dude.
This is probably a no-no, but the few times that I filled in for Ed on the overnights at KBSG,
yeah,
if there was a song on the playlist that I didn't want to hear, I would kick it out.
Yeah, that definitely is a no-no.
That program.
But I didn't have to hear about it the next day because I was just filling it in.
First of all, I used to host the All Request Saturday nights on KBSG, and I think at the most I had 4 request slots an hour, which that was a lot.
That's a lot.
That was all request. We billed it as, and out of 20 songs, 4 of them are, being requested by somebody.
Totally. Hey, speaking of radio no-nos, Brewski, we had a person work for us at one time, and they came on the air, and they said, they back announced the song. Oh, that was Looking Glass and Brandy. I hate that song. That is such a stupid song. Here's the Beach Boys, Help Me Rhonda. Speaking of a no-no.
Do I know this person?
No, but I heard that live on the air, and I was just like, what the fuck was that? And I asked the person about it. They were like, I was just trying to be casual. Like, I just want to be honest with my audience. I'm like, we're in top 40, basically. Like, you don't be honest with your audience.
Everything's upbeat. Everything's positive, dude.
You love every song.
It's insulting to the audience because if you come on after a song and say that song sucked, the only people listening to it were the people that liked it.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah, and that's a good song, too.
A couple more things here. Things that happen all the time in the 80s that make us shudder nowadays. And, this is a big one, I think. Smoking indoors in your car. That was so common back then and
Totally.
is outrageously disgusting nowadays.
Brewski always talks about his dad smoking a cigarette in the car with the windows up. You know, that was a thing that people did as they drove around, especially if it was raining out. Roll those fucking windows up, dude. I don't want my cigarette to get wet.
My old man would be smoking a Lucky Strike while he was filling the car up with gas.
Yeah, we smoked and did everything back then.
I got one last thing here on the 80s list that I don't know if it would make a shudder nowadays, but I don't know if I should ask my kids. Do you know what a Cabbage Patch Kid is, kids?
Sure do.
I had one. I had the birth certificate and everything.
Wow. I didn't know you were gay in the 80s. That's cool, Nick.
Xavier Roberts. He was the one at the Cabbage Patch, Babyland General that was like the official that would sign the birth certificates.
Yeah, it was the first form of human trafficking. And Steve, I was not gay. I was a little boy, and I got it as a gift, and I love that Cabbage Patch doll. So sorry you didn't ever get the joy of adopting a child.
No, I would have rejected that gift. Brewski, did you have a Cabbage Patch Kid or would have been happy to get one on Christmas?
I didn't get one. My sister got a couple, which actually was amazing that it even happened because there were literal riots.
Yeah.
When that happened, like they would people were fighting over them. Look up the videos.
Oh, I know.
My sister only got two of them because my old man had a coworker who worked part-time at a toy store in suburban Boston, and he hit a couple and because they were a hot item.
Oh yeah, no, I know. The before Beanie Babies, Cabbage Patch Kids were the big sought-after item, and I'm sure they peaked in value in 1989 or whatever because they were sought after and going for big money, but then the whole market fell off. I was more into the Garbage Pail Kids as a protest vote. You remember those?
I've still got a few unopened boxes of Garbage Pail Kids.
Nice.
Hey, let me tell you about Cabbage Patch Kids before. Yeah, I know I'm gay, but let me tell you how progressive I was in the 80s, all right? Okay. Cabbage Patch Kids, like Brewski said, all the rage. Lines, fights, the whole 9 yards. My mother and I were at a store called Sears Surplus. Okay, Sears Surplus was a store that Sears owned that they would send all their stuff that hadn't sold, and they would sell it for discount prices at Sears Surplus. We're at Sears Surplus one day, walking down the aisle, and they had 20 boxed Cabbage Patch dolls. And I was a boy getting a Cabbage Patch Kid, and I wanted a Cabbage Patch Kid. So there were boy dolls.
Yes.
The only boy doll they had was a little black baby, Cabbage Patch Kid, and I adopted that baby and put the birth certificate up on my door to my bedroom, and I took care of that guy for a long time. Why? Because he needed a home, dude. And I didn't discriminate. And now you think I'm gay because of it.
Well,
maybe not gay. A little effeminate, though. I mean, I don't know. But that's very progressive of you to adopt a little black cat.
Right. Well, where were you then, Angelina Jolie?
Do you guys know an album called Free to Be You and Me?
No, I listen to it in the shower every day, dude.
So this was an album put out in 1972 by Marlo Thomas, and it actually had it featured a lot of big name artists at the time, and it really took on a lot of different stereotypes as far as boys and girls, men and women, and that sort of thing. There's a song on there called "William Wants a Doll," because it was basically saying if you're a boy, it's okay if you want a doll. But according to the song, everybody else was like telling William there's something wrong with you. Only girls play with dolls. So when you were saying that, Nick, that's the first thing that came to my mind. William Wants a Doll from the Free to Be You and Me album.
Listen, I'm not shaming guys who want dolls. I'm shaming guys who wanted a Cabbage Patch Kid doll.
Why?
I'm specific.
Why?
I was just, my sisters were into it and all that. I was just very like, screw Cabbage Patch Kids. I want these Cabbage Patch Kids. Like, so no, I've held on to that Cabbage Patch animosity.
You missed out, dude. Especially you've been playing with dolls your whole life and you still play with them. So
sex dolls, maybe, but I mean,
what about your
action figures are not dolls?
I see a lot of action figures of yours that don't. The arms don't move, dude. You have dolls and not action figures.
This is an action figure. Little guy in a motorcycle.
Yes, Mork from Ork. A talking Mork from Ork.
Oh, let's hear him.
That's that.
I think the resale value's gone. It doesn't seem to be working.
Does he say nano? That's my only question.
He did say Shazbot. The first time I pulled the string, it said Shazbot. But there is a nano on there amongst the. But those voice boxes go out on those toys.
Sure.
After years, so. But yeah, Steve has action figures too, right? And within arm's reach.
I have action figures, not dolls.
Potato. Welcome to the Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve Brewski.
One last thing I want to throw out here is, this is not on the list, but this is my personal thing I hated about the 80s now that I look back. Music videos. Like, some of them were so terrible, they ruined good music. I hated Queen in the 80s. The I Want to Break Free video, Radio Gaga video was just terrible. I hated Tom Petty in the 80s because of Don't Come Around Here No More, that Alice in Wonderland. Like, bad 80s videos ruined good music.
But the song the video for You Got Lucky is actually a really, really cool video.
Yeah, there may be some exceptions, but come on, 80s videos really did no service to those music.
I disagree.
Really? I enjoy most of them, but I like the artists.
They are what they are. Like, you got to take them for what they are. I mean, videos were new in the 80s. It was, the inception of music videos, so they were cool.
The Cars, every video from the Cars, I hate it.
Even with the hot women in it, huh?
Yeah, no, for sure. Pearl Jam at one point stopped making videos because they said that we hate the commercialization of it, but more so, once you see a visual image to a song, you can never get it out of your head. And that's really true. I worshipped MTV in the 80s, and I've realized, like, it did a disservice. You should come up with your own visuals.
But it's funny. They don't like the commercialization, but they sure like the checks when they come in. That's for damn sure.
Well, yeah, sure. I mean,
don't talk to me about having artistic integrity and bitching about commercialization while you're then profiting off of it.
You can't
know
be
what I mean?
selective in your artistic endeavors. You have to do them all, huh? Because MTV's demanding it. You have to. No,
but what I'm saying though is like, don't try to make it seem like you're some paragon of virtue and that you're all for artistic integrity when you're
drawing a line with your product.
Oh, stop it. You're a whore like everybody else.
Really?
Just embrace it. Yeah.
So every musician is just some big corporate whore, huh? That's your statement here today?
But that's the whole idea. You got into music to make money and bang chicks and not have to work a regular job. That's why you got into music.
Your rebuttal.
My rebuttal is you're allowed to draw lines with your artisticness. You don't have to make T-shirts and lunch boxes. And if you don't want a music video, you don't have to when you become famous enough that you can exert that authority. If you don't want to be called John Cougar Mellencamp, you don't have to when you become famous enough. That doesn't make you a sellout or a corporate whore. It makes you a power broker.
They fly into the face of each other. Either you're a starving artist or you're making the money. One of the two.
Well, there are shades in there for sure, and I can't accept that every musician is a corporate whore. Every musician you love is a corporate whore.
But I'm not saying it's a bad thing, because they got into that business to become wealthy and famous. But
make a living and do what they're doing. I mean, not every musician is a multi-zillionaire.
But they want to be, though.
And it's a bit convenient that they made videos for a while, and then once they had the notoriety, they were like, "Yeah, it's stupid." They should have never made them.
They had to play the game. It's why John Cougar had to have the Cougar. He had to play the game at first.
It's like Grace Slick bitched about how she's so embarrassed that she recorded "We Built the City on Rock and Roll" and that it's an awful song. Okay, were you bitching about that and how awful it was when you were casting those fat checks that kept you relevant in the 80s? No, you weren't. You were happy to cash those checks. So you can't have it both ways.
No, I think there's examples like that, yeah, it's probably hypocritical, but
you know what I mean?
The band hits a certain level and they're like, I don't want to do that corporate sellout thing anymore. I think that's perfectly within their power that they've grown that far. Like, kudos to you.
I just don't buy artistic integrity. I just don't. But that's fine.
Well, it's a real thing, and some artists have it. So.
But he's not going to buy it, Steven. Okay?
The irony. So. All right. Well, 70s and 80s. There were some highlights and some lowlights that we've covered.
Indeed, there were. And we appreciate you joining the program. The Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve Brewski. Find us online. We have a webpage. What is it?
It's thevocalminority.net. And if anyone wants to make us sellouts, we'd all be more than happy to. So pay us some money for the show, and I'll make videos, I'll make lunchboxes until we're famous enough, and then I'll draw the line.
Yeah.
Come on, Steve. I don't think it's anything that nothing I wouldn't do for the money. That's for damn sure. You want to put my face on a lunchbox?
Then you get to draw lines. So
no, I'd do it all. You kidding me? I'd be like Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley. You could put my face on caskets, whatever. As long as I'm getting paid, just give me the money, baby.
Yeah, I don't entirely disagree as far as we're concerned. So, yeah, bring it on.
Exactly.
Better to be a one-hit wonder than a no-hit wonder. So,
That's right. Call our comment line, 844-48-VOCAL, and see our socials. We've got videos. Oh, plenty.
Yes, we do.
Brewski.
Yes, sir.
Say it.
Goodbye.
And we say bye-bye.
Test 1 2, test 1 2.
Stop.